What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Louisville Sports Talk. I'm your host. My name is Cam, and today we got a jam-packed episode for you guys talking about Louisville football's most recent couple of games, and then we'll throw in a little preview of our matchup against Miami this Friday night. But anyway, let's jump into going over Louisville football's past couple of games. I originally had a great episode recorded for you guys previewing the matchup heading into the JMU game. I had recorded a collaboration video with the guys down at JMU Sports News, but unfortunately the audio file got corrupted due to some amateurism on my part. So I apologize dropping the ball on that one, but hopefully I'll be able to fix those problems and get some better content out for you guys, especially the collaboration videos. I love doing those, and I feel like it provides a great insight, not only heading into those type of matchups, but also the other team's point of view heading into that matchup. So I'll get better on that on my part. I already fixed the problem. I know what happened. So next time I'll be able to prevent that and be able to get you guys some great content out. But yeah, we beat JMU in a pretty close game. It was a pretty exciting one to be at. The atmosphere was great. And then after the JMU game, we had a very weak matchup against Bowling Green, which ended up being a pretty boring game. It was over by halftime. And then we went into our first bye week. And then we went and played our first away game and our first ACC game at Pitt, which ended up being a very exciting game, being down 17 in the first quarter, coming back from that, and then being down 10 before half, and then putting up an absolute shutout in the second half. It was a great performance by our defense. Offense was very shoddy, especially in the first half, but they put things together, completed the comeback, and that put us at 4-0. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of what happened against Virginia. Heading into the game, the hype was there. It was our first ranked opponent of the season. Virginia was coming off their biggest win in a couple years, beating FSU in double overtime. With a 3:30 kickoff, a spot on ESPN2, and a large bit of the country watching due in part of what Virginia did the week before against FSU, and then Louisville being undefeated heading into this matchup. The storyline was definitely building throughout the week. I believe the spread was favoring Louisville by either 6.5 or 7.5 points heading into the game. But the Cards once again came out slow to start the game, made way too many boneheaded, unforced errors and penalties, and yet again, the offense struggled mightily. And that is such a weird thing to say, especially when you consider the fact that Louisville leads the nation in scoring 24 points or more in consecutive games, with the streak now being at 18 or 19 in a row. And then also considering that this is a Jeff Brom-led offense, how many times could you say that a Jeff Brom-led offense is struggling, not only for him here at Louisville, but throughout his entire coaching career? I mean, it just doesn't happen. Throughout the first 5 games of the season, the offense has just been stagnant. With a really bad offensive line combined with our top 3 running backs being injured throughout the start of the season, add that with Miller Moss's very questionable decision-making, it hasn't been pretty on the offensive side at all. And then to add on top of that, this team is very undisciplined. Louisville football ranks in the middle to lower half of all the NCAA in penalties per game at 87th, penalty yards per game at 100th, and then penalty yards per penalty at 126th out of 136 teams. Penalties have cost us over and over and over again throughout Jeff Brom's tenure here at Louisville, and there just seems to be no urgency to try to fix those issues. You would think that Brom and company would have this figured out midway through year 3, but it seems like that's either a part of the culture or they just haven't put that much emphasis into fixing it. But either way, it just seems like the problem is here to stay. The only bright spot on this team throughout the season so far has been the defense. Just imagine that for 1 second. Year 3 under head coach Jeff Brom, the offense is struggling majorly, and the defense is carrying this team. Going into the season, Ron English was sitting on the hot seat, but now he has completely turned this defense around compared to last season. He has answered all the questions that needed to be answered, and I give him props for that. His name was called upon during the offseason. He was ridiculed. A lot of people were calling for him for his position to be fired, and he stood up and he's done an amazing job turning this defense around. But add another aspect onto this offense that has fans and people concerned is that quarterback Miller Moss has just been pretty mid. He's had flashes of greatness, but then he's had flashes of being really, really bad. One of his few bright spots was leading us back down 17 against Pitt, but the reason why we were down 17 against Pitt was for his decision making. I'll give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here. Jeff Brom's play calling has been very questionable as well. But add everything into one pot and stir it together. It's a combination that just reeks of a bad offense. The offensive line isn't playing good. Our top 3 running backs have been consistently injured. Miller Moss's decision making once again. Moss has completed 120 out of 179 throws for a 67% completion rate for almost 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. All those numbers are good except for the interceptions. You go back to his days playing at USC, and this was the exact reason why he was benched last year. His decision making, especially under pressure, and then also his willingness to just give the ball to the other team. This is the 3rd year in a row where we've had a transfer quarterback, and it looks like all signs are pointing to that this is not a recipe for success. We got lucky the first year with Jack Plummer with having a really great rushing game, a great offensive line, and then a really great defense. Winning 10 games, going to Charlotte and playing for the ACC championship for the first time, we let that one slip out of our hands. And then last year, we had an amazing offense compared to a pretty mid to bad defense, and that cost us games. And now this year, we have a really good defense with a mid to pretty bad offense. It's just the back and forth all the time. It's just starting to get on my nerves, and I think there's starting to be some growing concern amongst the fan base that is questioning whether or not Jeff Brom has what it takes to take that next step or take this program to the next step, to winning ACC championships, to being in the college football playoff contention, the conversation. But when you have letdowns like you do consistently throughout the past couple of years with Jeff Brom, it's a cause for concern. We shouldn't have lost this game, but due to poor play calling, a poor offensive line, and due to multiple miscues on the offense, Miller Moss's decision making, him refusing to go down and just give up a sack, the connection between Miller Moss and Isaac Brown just hasn't been there all year, and you saw that on the toss back fumble. It just has not been pretty at all this year. And it sucks to say that. Every single game, you get the highest of highs and you get the lowest of lows on this offense. Not only with this offense, but also with Miller Moss. He can show you that he can throw for over 300 yards, multiple touchdowns in a game. He can also show you that he's just willing to make a boneheaded play and put the ball in jeopardy for the defense to make a play on it. And they've done that throughout multiple games this year. And we said it leading up to the Virginia game, even leading up to the Pitt game. If you're going to make these mistakes against Power 4 competition or against ACC competition, you're going to lose these games. And we got lucky coming back against Pitt, and we weren't able to do that against Virginia. It came back to bite our ass. Now, there are people out there calling for Miller Moss to be benched, and I just don't think that's a option at this point. Brom has shown you over and over and over again throughout his career that he will not play a second quarterback. He rides with the guy that he decides in the offseason is going to be the starter. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know. But I have more faith in Deuce Adams than Brady Allen. All indicators have pointed that Brom wants Allen to be the number 2 instead of Deuce for God knows what reason. That's another conversation for another day. But then also, what is going on with the development of our high school quarterbacks? We've had multiple throughout the past 3 years. And like I said, this is our 3rd straight year of having a starting quarterback, a transfer quarterback. And next year is going to be nothing different. I completely 100% expect them to go in the transfer portal and go after another big name quarterback. Probably waste a lot of money there, not get a great offensive line like they should be focusing on. Pay for your offensive line, develop a good quarterback. That's what they should be doing, but that's not what they're paying attention to right now. That's a conversation for another day, like I said. Brom has to do something different. I mean, knowing the fact that our offensive line is as bad as it is, heading into these games, you have to have a better strategy, a better game plan. But he sits there after these games at the press conferences, and just the answers that he gives, they're just not good enough answers. And I know it's coach speaking, and I know he understands a lot more than I do, but you got to have an answer for the simplest of problems. When the offensive line isn't able to block for the run, give run protection, that completely cancels out our run game. And then so Moss is forced to throw the ball 50 times per game. When you take the running attack away from this offense, it makes it completely one-dimensional. And we thought that we were going to be deeper at the wide receiver position, and it's just been Chris Bell and Colin Lacey. And Colin Lacey hasn't even been contributing enough amongst the wide receivers. He's more been on the special teams making plays. which thank God, I mean, he's a help, but we got to find a way to put the ball in our best playmakers' hands. Colin Lacey, he's been making a name for himself. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year. He had 170 yards against Virginia. He's doing what he needs to do. Now we just need to get Colin Lacey more involved. And then after that, who else is going to step up amongst the wide receiver group? This has been a continuous problem amongst Jeff Brom's teams here at Louisville, not having a deep enough wide receiver unit. You have 1A and 1B. 1A is on one side, 1B is on the other side, and then what are you going to do? Our tight ends haven't been involved in the passing game. I mean, I could go on for years talking about this offense and the problems that we're facing right now. And everybody knows it. Everybody can see it just as well as I can too. I mean, I don't have to let you guys know what the problems are. It's been said over and over again. But it's just so frustrating watching these games and just knowing that there could be a better outcome, a different outcome from these letdown games. And just seeing Jeff Brom stand there on the sideline with this dumbfounded look on his face, it's very frustrating because it's the simplest of things. Discipline when it comes to penalties. Coming into the game with a better game plan for the offense against the defense. It's just a hard conversation with this offense. There's just so many things that aren't gelling together. I mean, heading into this year, we thought that we had a top 3 running back room in the nation. We still probably do. But with us being as injured as we are, and then our offensive line being as bad as it is, we can't really say that. Brown and Watson have both been injured all season, and I give credit to them for going out there and playing while still injured, but they just keep going out there and injuring themselves even more, and that's just digging ourselves a bigger hole to come back out of. This season is starting to become a disappointment, but on the other hand, we only have 1 loss. And that was to a ranked team in overtime. And after the Miami game this Friday, the schedule looks very winnable. The ACC is as wide open as it's ever been. We still have an opportunity to win 10 games. And although it looks a lot more challenging now than it did at the beginning of the season, it's still doable. We have only 1 conference loss. And if we go down to Miami and give it our best shot and come out there with a win, then the season's right back on with the conversation of being back in the college football playoff, being an ACC championship contender. And I think that's a very big possibility that we could do that. I'm not a big fan of Miami. I don't believe in Coach Cristobal. We have to go down there and we have to play our best game, and it's doable. Is it probable? No, but it's doable. And if we go down there and do that, then the conversation, like I said, is right back on track. The season is still there. So I'm encouraging fans not to get discouraged with this team and keep showing up for the games. We still have 4 home games left this season, and this team needs the crowd to show up. Although it's been a big disappointment to start the season, there's still a lot of opportunities for us to go out there and make a name for ourselves. I understand it's an uphill battle to climb, but I'm going to be optimistic rather than pessimistic. The glass is still half full for me, and I hope there's a lot more people like me out there. Basketball season is a couple weeks away, and you can already see fans starting to shift their focus and attention to that. And I absolutely can't wait for basketball season, but we're right in the middle of football season, and we still have a chance. As of right now, Louisville is 6th in the ACC with 1 loss, but conference play just started, and there's a lot of games to be played. Hopefully we can come out of the bye week after the UVA game a little bit healthier, and we need to go down there with an excellent game plan. It's going to have to be a dogfight, but I believe Jeff Brom is that type of coach. He's proved it over and over again that he will get his team up for these type of games. The season is still on, Cards fans, and we still have an amazing opportunity ahead of us. So here's to hoping that we can take advantage of this situation, clean up the penalties. Miller Moss just needs to make simple plays. He doesn't have to be Superman. Just go out there and do what he needs to do. Stop trying to extend these plays. Take a sack if you need to take a sack. He's cost us too many points with his tomfoolery. Just either throw it away or take the sack. But yeah, other than that, I'm not really sure what else there is to be said at this point in the season. We'll call this my mid-ish season in review. We got Miami in a couple days. Be looking out for the preview video for that. I'm going to try to get someone in to do a collaboration video with me, and we'll get that out to you guys as soon as possible. And then also think basketball season's right around the corner. I'm so excited. I got a lot of stuff planned out for you guys, so be looking out for that too. But anyway, this has been Louisville Sports Talk. My name is Cam. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.